Well, this week, I want to just welcome everybody to the Jarvis Sam Show. If you're hearing this on the Jarvis Sam Show, welcome as always to the Jarvis Sam Show. But this week, we're also joined by the Inspired by Christopher audience. The Inspired by Christopher podcast audience join us. So I want to welcome those listeners as well. And Christopher, welcome your people on, man.
Yeah, man, this is the mashup that everybody's been waiting for, or not. But if you haven't been waiting for it, this is what you get, man. For those of y'all who've been rocking with me, man, y'all know that I've had another podcast before. I was a co-host on Jarvis Sam's podcast, but now I got my own podcast again, and this is a mashup right here, man. You got the Jarvis Sam Show, and you got the Inspired by Christopher podcast, and this is the mashup, man. We're gonna be doing this ever so often, just to combine audiences, man, just to share each other. Pause. But that's what we're doing right now, man. I want to welcome my listeners, man. Welcome his listeners. Let's cook, man.
Yeah. So let's stay there real quick. So last time my listeners had an opportunity to hear from you, you were Bread Tuck Rob. You are now the artist formerly known as Bread Tuck. and like a lot has changed and everything. Man, talk to the people about what's going on with you now.
Man, so check it out, man. Bread Tuck Legacy is still a thing, man. Right now, I don't put that in the forefront right now, but I had to rebrand, man, because what was happening with the Bread Tuck Legacy is when I was pushing that thing and pushing whatever I had connected to it, whether it be podcasts, whether it be videos or whatever, the Bread Tuck Legacy brand was confusing the people, okay? I'm this guy talking about inspiration and all this and, motivation, whatever you want to call it. And people didn't know how the Bread Tuck Legacy coincided with that. And when I sat down and really thought about it, I didn't see how it coincided either. So, man, of course, I texted you like, hey, man, I think I'm going to do a rebrand, man. I've been building Bread Tuck Legacy for 6 years. When people see me in the street, they scream it like like boys will scream G Unit at 50. But, I just had to, because I'm not where I am. I'm not where I want to be right now. It only made sense for me to kind of rebrand and move forward. So now with the podcast I have now with the videos I have now, when you see Inspired by Christopher and you see me, I'm Christopher, it's not confusing anymore, man. You pretty much know what I'm doing within my podcast or within my videos, man. So I just wanted to make everything make sense, man.
That's what's up. So to my listeners, go right now and subscribe to the Inspired by Christopher podcast. It's on iTunes, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from, it's there. He also has a Patreon. Subscribe to that as well, because that's the only place you're going to get 100% of his full episodes each and every week is on his Patreon. So salute to you, man. I appreciate everything you did to get the Jarvis Sam Show kicked off and off to a good start. So, man, hey, man, keep pushing it, man. But so this week we talking mental health.
Wait a minute, Jarvis.
Okay.
Before we get into that, check this out. To all my listeners who rock with me, man, if you follow me on Instagram, you're gonna see Jarvis. When I do different things, you're gonna see Jarvis. So go to jarvissam.com where all his information is. Subscribe to him. Okay, in the future, because I'm watching this guy build something, man. In the future, and I would predict the near future, he's going to have a place where his podcast is being monetized. Pay for that. Subscribe to that. You can subscribe to mine and his. This isn't, a competition. This isn't appointment TV. You can listen to me first, then listen to him. You can listen to him first, or you can then listen to me. However you listen, make sure if you fool with me, go ahead and fool with Jarvis. As a matter of fact, I'm sure his link tree is going to be somewhere at the, I know on my episode, I know on his too, that link tree is going to be available. Click his link tree and hit his Cash App with something, man. A hot $2, a hot $3. hey, if you got 100, put 100 in there. If you got $1, put $1 in there. But if you appreciate the content, man, if you appreciate a brother trying to push something forward, if you appreciate a brother trying to deliver a message to the people, and you got a little extra, tighten them up. But I say all that to say, man, jarvissam.com. His information will be in my information box or whatever. Y'all make sure y'all check him out, man.
Man, appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
This week we talking mental health. Before we talk about anything else, how are you doing? I think that's a loaded question that people don't always answer. People always, oh, I'm good, especially Black men. We love to, I'm good, fam, I'm good, bro. Yeah, everything good. Woo, woo, woo. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm actually, and I'm being 100% honest with you, man. I'm actually in the greatest of spaces, man. I feel valued. And of course, we'll talk more about that or whatever, but I just feel valued with my family. Like I come home, my daughter when I come home, my daughter treats me like I'm Tupac or something, man, and right now, like I've said in other episodes on your podcast, I'm looking for new employment or whatever. Well, the ultimate goal is to build my own, but while I'm building my own, the family has to be taken care of right now. So I'm looking for new employment, and I got people out there that's, hey, man, it's darn near a bidding war out here, man. So At this point in my life, I feel spectacular. If you would have asked me this around October, it would have been a little different. But right now, I'm in the greatest of spaces, man. How is your mental health, Jarvis?
Hey, man. I must be in your October.
Oh!
I must be in your October. Yeah, man. It's, but I think, such is life, man. Like, I think life is a roller coaster, man. You got peaks, you got valleys. Hey, man, I'm in a valley. I'm in a valley, but guess what, man? There's only one way to go, and that's up, man. So, man, we had some crazy stuff happen in Houston, man, in February, man. We had these storms, this winter storm that had everybody out of power, out of water, couldn't go nowhere. Just craziness, man. And honestly, man, I thought my house was good. Man, one day we having dinner, I realized, whoa, that got to be a leak. Okay. Yeah. All right. Shouldn't be nothing too major. Yeah. Plumber come out. Yeah, fam, you got mold. What? Yeah. When you have mold, it's a serious problem, bro. So we had to call these mold remediation people to come out. They had to demolish my entire kitchen island. Demolish it. The only thing that was standing was the granite countertop. That's it. Cool. Again, such is life, man. You roll with the punches, right? So because that work was going on, they moved things into my garage. When they moved things into my garage, it forced my car out of the garage. A few days into having my car outside of the garage, some knucklehead decided to steal my car right off my driveway. And it's just, man, when there's so many other little things that it affected, because when you have a child and all that, man, you ain't got no whip. It gets it gets a little hectic, man. Thankfully, my car got recovered a few days ago. Had some damage, mainly to my tires and rims. So I had to go and get tires and rims. I had no idea it was so hard to find tires and rims for my car at a fairly decent price.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Finally got that taken care of this morning. So again, it's, and then with the household damage, you put that, when you're a homeowner, you have what's called homeowners insurance.
Absolutely.
And they don't give a damn about your home. I'm finding out. So, you're talking thousands of dollars that have been spent on this project, and they only want to give me a fraction of it. They only going to give me about 1,000. So yeah, that got a brother a little cuckoo in the head,
Yeah. Yeah.
on top of everything. And it just, when it gets to that point where it's like when it rains, it pours. That's what my grandmother used to always say, when it rains, it pours. So, so right now it's raining on a brother a little bit, but hey man, my time is coming. My time is coming. Things are, I've had those peaks as well. So I know how life goes. And, when I think about everything that I've gone through these past few weeks, and I think about, man, if I had any less resources, if I had, any less like confidence in myself, this could have broken somebody. Like this situation could totally break somebody, like in a lesser situation or with, lesser confidence or lesser resources and everything. But, I've been able to somehow weather the storm with the help of others. And, it goes to show like the quality of the people that you put in your life really comes to fruition during the tough times, because I've had tough times in my life where the people I surrounded myself with disappeared or made themselves unavailable. So, I'm happy to say 10, 11 years later, I've leveled up and have, a circle of people around me that step up and help me and make sure I'm good. So, hey, it's been a rough couple of weeks, but hey, man, I'm trucking along. This is all going to be behind me very soon, and I know that. And I know that that the winning season is right around the corner, because it only takes, you're gonna pile up a couple of losses, but if you're a winner, man, you always get back on track.
Man. Before we move forward, man, after hearing Jarvis talk about that, man, click the link tree in at the bottom of this in the information box. Click that link tree, tap on his Cash App, and bless his game, man. Bless his game right now. If whatever you got, $1, $2, $100, whatever you got, bless his game right now, man. I want to ask you some questions about that, man.
Yeah.
Because when you look at things that you have to take care of around, just in life, man, your shelter is probably the most expensive thing. And I guess maybe second would be your car. And you're going through having to take care of these two things at once, in addition to having a child who is costly, in addition to having a woman. And we all know that women are costly, man. Here's the question I want to ask you, man. And this is just about your car. It's nothing. When you got your car back, man, and you saw that, so only your rims and tires were damaged. That was the only
That's the only thing I've seen. That's the only thing I've seen. I mean, I'm no expert on cars, but other than that, man, it seemed to be driving like normal.
Now, let me ask you this, man. Did the insurance, was there anything within the insurance that could help out or something?
So check it out. My vehicle has been paid for in full for 6 years. This brother ain't paying for no full coverage insurance. To me, that's wasteful until your whip come up missing. But as I'm also learning about insurance companies from the homeowners insurance, just because you got a certain insurance don't mean that they're going to bless your game either. So,
man,
liability insurance, they straight up, we don't cover none of that.
Okay. And going through all that, man, this is a question I want to ask you, man. When
I had to pay $300 to get my car out of impound.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
Okay. So if I gotta get $300 to get my car out of impound. No telling what's going on with my car before I see it. I already got whatever's going on at the house, mold and all this, and the mold is important. I got a family, a child over here. So on top of that, I got to find another place to stay. Maybe I pay for a hotel, or maybe I find a room with family. And if I get a room with family, most likely it'll probably be like a couch or one room where it's me and my family on top of each other. So in dealing with all that, man, did you, I know this isn't something you jump on Facebook and just, hey guys, I'm going through all this. These are all my problems. But did you share this with many people? And second part of that question is, did you ask for help or were you embarrassed?
Man, to be honest, man, I was transparent with people at work, close friends.
Absolutely.
I was sharing with you what was going on. But I'm not one to like complain, you know what I mean? Or just make a big deal, like, or what have you, you know what I'm saying? And at the same time, like, you got to be careful who you talk to, because some people love to kind of relish in your with seeing you lose a little bit or seeing you kind of down, you know what I mean? Because I think, when people see me on social media, the first thing they say is, oh, he got a podcast and he, it looked like I'm doing pretty, well in life or whatever. So boom, that's the kind of, oh, you ain't doing good kind of moment. And sometimes people love to kind of relish in that. And I don't want to give them that satisfaction. But man, at the same time, like, hey man, it's a transparent moment for me right now. It's like, hey, we talking about mental health. I'm not finna sit up here and act like, oh yeah, I'm great, I'm doing, nah, this is what's happening with me. This is a reality of what's happening. It can mess you up in the mind a little bit when so many things happening at one time, especially when you have a child in the mix. So hey, I'm but to answer the question, like, no, the people that matter to me know what's going on, and that was kind of the extent of it. And did I get help? Yes, people, I've had people, hey, if you need a ride here, boom. Hey, if you need a couple of, bucks for, some formula, boom, I got you. Like, I've had those things. So, like I said, I'm blessed to have the people around me that I have.
Man, you said something about just transparency and being in moments where people may see you down or whatever, and you don't want to give them the satisfaction. Let me ask you this, man, and we're talking about Black men mental health. Excuse me. If I'm having a moment where it doesn't look all that great for me, okay, and I'm being transparent about it, and depending on whether you like me or not, maybe you're getting satisfaction in me taking this L or whatever. But isn't there power in transparency though? Huh? Because think about it, man. Everybody doesn't have the ability to say, hey, check it out, man. Everything is falling apart right now. I'm jacked up. I can use help. But if you don't help me, I'm going to figure this out. I'm in the mud, but I'm going to struggle my way through the mud and figure this thing out, man. Isn't there power in that, man?
I mean, I can see that. And that's why I'm using this platform to be transparent and to share what's going on, because I think there is power. And I think there's, I also think, like, as I've seen things play out in my life, I don't know what word I was trying to say, but as I've seen things play out in my life over many, many years, anytime that I've had those valleys I was talking about, right? I've noticed that those valleys help me through other valleys that I end up facing in the future. It either leaves me better prepared, or better mentally stable to deal with, like, what's going to happen later. So, like, it's like a building block. So, like, everything you go through is kind of like a building block of what you might have to endure later in life. Like, this may not be the biggest disaster that happens in a home that I have, right? So, but I'll be prepared. I'll know that insurance company's gonna hug you. Other things might happen. You better have backup plans, because if you're gonna have to park somewhere else, because last time you had this happen, you had so it just, those things are going to be in the back of my mind. And one thing about me, I never like to make the same mistake twice. I never like to, like, I use every single thing that in my life to as a lesson. So if something bad happens, I look at it as a lesson, like, which is why I'm not defeated or anything. Like, hey, this is a teachable moment for me. This is new to me, but it's a teachable moment because I'm learning so much about being a homeowner. I'm learning so much about, being just being prepared for like whatever. Like you never know what can happen. And and I have to always know that at the end of the day, everything that happens with me and mine is my responsibility. Like FEMA and them ain't, guaranteed, right? Homeowners insurance ain't gonna guarantee you anything. But at the end of the day, I have to make sure mine is taken care of no matter what. So it's just one of those moments where you're a man and you're just like, hey, I'm gonna get through it. And on the other side, I already know like this is preparing me for something that's gonna happen in the future. So I'm gonna be more equipped for it. So yeah, there is power in it.
Man, what's your biggest fear, man? As a man, what's your biggest fear? What would drive you crazy, man?
Not being able to protect or be there for my son when he needs something.
Man, that's the same fear I have, man. That's the same fear I have for my daughter. Go ahead.
When I think about the highest stress level that whole situation brought on was things that revolved around him.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, adults gonna be all right.
Yeah.
We can figure it out, but he depends on adults. He depends on his parents to make sure he's good. And you have to protect him from all the bad that's going on around him that he don't even understand that's going on. He don't understand that daddy, and it's of no consequence to him. Daddy not having a car ain't got a damn thing to do with him, in his mind. And all he knows is I need to be fed, I need to be changed, I need to be burped, I need to be put to sleep, I need to play. And daddy plays a big role in that. So what's up, daddy? You know what I mean? And when you're having construction done in your home, they use this paint that's like, it's like oil based, and man, it just leaves fumes throughout the entire home. Man, a kid can't breathe that crazy stuff. So you gotta, what are we gonna do? We're gonna stay at a hotel, we're gonna stay, at somebody's crib, we're gonna crash. And it's just it's because he's out of his element. And kids need so much just to survive. Think about all the things you'd have to pack just for that kid to just survive for 1 or 2 nights because they need so much. And then it's like, did I forget this? Is this in the bag? What about this? And my kid has like allergies and also like he's got medicines he got to pack and EpiPen and like all this stuff. Like we have to make sure we have.
He has an EpiPen.
Yeah, man, boys got allergies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. On the surface, man, it might look like, oh, you got little repairs. Oh, you got, little car. Man, when you bring it all full circle with everything that's going on, it's like, bruh. And on top of that, what you got to realize on top of that is I still have a 9 to 5. Still got a podcast, still got things I'm trying to build. And those things can't stop. Like I have not missed an episode throughout all this. I have recorded at crazy times, and which is one of the reasons I've been doing them solos, because hey, I'm not about to impede on anybody's time, knowing I don't know when I'm gonna be able to get 35, 45 minutes to record. And when I do, I just got to get in and get it done. My last episode, I recorded when I normally have my social media clip drop on Instagram. I was just now recording, but I still got it out. It was literally the fastest turnaround time I ever had. I recorded and I had the show out, edited and out within like an hour and a half. Crazy time. But that was my level of dedication. I basically I carved out this time. I said it. I said, hey, I'm gonna give myself this amount of time to record. I'm gonna go right into editing. I'm gonna go right into pushing it out to all the platforms. That was my dedication. But it was hard to find that time. It was very hard to find that time. And because at the end of the day, you're dealing with all this plus everything else, and you still got to try to find a little time to have some sanity, to get a little rest, to get a little peace of mind. Because, I think especially when times are chaotic, you really got to figure out how to get rest in there, because juggling all these priorities on very little rest can cause you to make bad decisions or not think with a clear mind. And that's the worst thing that can happen when you're in these situations, because you do need to have clarity of what to do, how to do it, when to do it, so that you can make the best decision. And nobody's making their best decision when they're not well nourished. So you got to, make sure you're eating good, and you got to make sure you're getting some sort of rest, because if not, hey man, you are not going to be in the right frame of mind, and you will definitely go insane.
Do you feel like you just have, like, as a man, you're just, no matter what's going on, no matter if this thing is crumbling, whatever, do you feel like you're just expected to figure it out and have solutions? And before you answer that, and if so, what does that do to you mentally and or physically?
So that's I think it's and I can only speak for myself, but I do believe that is a stigma that we have as good men. Some men that are trash probably don't, right? But I think if you want to do good, if you're trying to do things that are right, yes, you do feel that pressure to have the answers, to have the solutions, to provide that, because that's part of being that provider, that security, that that gatekeeper of your family, of everything that's going on. That's your responsibility as the protector and the provider of the family. Is like, hey, I've got to figure this out. But what I have figured out over time is, like, if you make the right connections and know the right people, like somebody has gone through something similar, and if you can, think with a clear enough mind, like, who may be able to help me with this, you can shoot a couple text messages or pick up the phone and call somebody, and they may be able to help you, so and I think that goes back to what you were talking about being transparent. A squeaky wheel won't get oil, right? So if no one knows what you're going through, no one can help you, right? If no one knows that I'm going through something with the insurance company, and boom, I was just talking to somebody maybe who had dealt with an insurance company, this is how they did it, they can't help me if they didn't know that I was going through that, because a lot of times people have gone through something and they've had those learning lessons, just like I'm going through it. So if somebody in the future is going through the same thing, I can tell them step by step, well, hey, this is how we handled it. And this is what happened. When the insurance company said this is how we circumvented. This is how we got them on the right track. These are the steps we took. Because again, it's a lesson, it's a learning lesson. And anytime you have a learning lesson, it's a moment for you to be able to do better in the future. And it's also a moment for you to be able to impart that same knowledge into somebody else who may be going through something similar in the future.
Okay, that's some good stuff, man. Okay, so as men, we got to deal with this. We're expected to have the answers. And like you said, man, we have to, it gets to a place where we have to, leverage relationships. Hey, I know that my OG, I could go talk to him because he's going to push me in the right direction. I could go talk to my mentor, however you go about doing that. That's still a load because you're expected to, you're the one that's expected to have the solutions. Okay. What do you do to maintain? Now, when I ask that, I'm asking you, where is your peace as a man? Pause. That's crazy. Pause. Where do you find your peace? Pause. As a man in dealing with all this, what do I do that's just for me to relax, to get my mind together, to make sure I stay above the clouds?
Man, that's a great question. One of the things that I found that is most that I feel like I'm really like in a place of like mental clarity is sometimes just going on a walk or a run, one deep with my AirPods in, and it's just me and the lane that I'm running in, like, or walking, or the path that I'm walking, right? And I may be listening to a podcast, I may be listening to some music, I may be just have my AirPods in as like a mechanism to like make sure other people don't want to stop and talk, just so I can have that clarity, right? But I find that I can really find a lot of clarity and a lot of peace in that. I have the room that I record my podcast in, where I'm at right now. I have this aromatherapy thing, like it releases like eucalyptus scents and all that, man. So sometimes, and it lights up, so sometimes I'll just sit in the room kind of in the dark, and I'll listen to like some, I make sure it's not anything crazy. I'm not going to be listening to a little Boosie at that time. I'm probably going to be listening to, I might be listening to J. Cole. I might be listening to Toby Nwingwe. I might be listening to, something a little more smooth, a little more conscious, to get my mind right. I don't want to, hear about, popping all, all that crazy stuff. I don't hear about, I want to just hear something that's going to build me up. You know what I'm saying? I think hearing, sometime a good word from like TD Jakes, man, or, can serve as like, that pick me up, or conversations, man, with good people, man. I actually identify as an introvert, man, in real life, but I do find value in conversations, especially with people that understand or can give substance to whatever I'm talking about or dealing with or whatever. So those things can be really therapeutic. Man, sometimes every now and then, man, I'll just pick up a video game, man. I might, play some 2K and take out my frustrations out on the Brooklyn Nets or something. So, it's a lot of things. It kind of depends on the mood, or or how deep the issue is, or how deeply I need that moment alone to reflect. It depends on what the mode is, because if it's just regular, day-to-day stuff, man, it's pretty easy to just kind of zone out while I'm in my car, on the ride home, and figure it out. But when things get a little heavier, man, it requires, heavier attention to it, and a deeper place, that, going deeper in that place. So, but yeah, my go-to, man, is right here in this room. Hell, doing a podcast is therapeutic. It's just talking Absolutely. About the issues, man, and getting things out there, because it's all those things that, things is you talk about things on your podcast that are on your mind, that are, either relevant to society, or relevant to our culture, or just relevant to us in general, and being able to speak on those things, is therapeutic. So, it's a lot. What do you do?
Yeah, man, the podcasting is big, man. Man, just turning on this microphone and just speaking, just vent. I use this as a place to just vent, You just say everything, man. Sometimes me and the fam will be in the whip, man, and I'll just start talking about whatever, just the thoughts I'm having in my mind, man, because I'm a deep critical thinker, man. So I just like to. I heard Kanye. I heard him talking in an interview with Joe Rogan, and he used the perfect terminology for what I feel like I like to do, what he likes to do, just word symphonies. Because I'm usually all over the place, man. My stuff, it's never a smooth, just smooth stuff. I may be talking about this, then I'll go here, then I'll go over here, but then I'll somehow find a way to bring it back to this. And it may not make sense in the moment, but throughout the conversation or towards the end of the conversation, I'll make it make sense again. I don't know, man. What else? I love just, taking walks by myself or with my child, and we just walking. I'm walking, watching her while I'm listening to a podcast. Sometimes we'll just go walk through them all, man. We'll just go walk through them all by ourselves, man. And just, I'm just listening to a podcast. I'm watching her, making sure she's safe. I'll take her outside, let her run around, man. I'm just watching her. The family safety, just kind of puts me at peace, man. Or, I don't listen to as much music as I listen to. I'm listening to things that could take me next level because I don't feel like I'm at the level that I need to be. But I remember last year, me, you, and Kathleen Killam did a podcast, and I heard y'all talk about therapy. And I feel like I need therapy. I need to speak to a therapist. Let me tell you why. I'm in a great place, but I told you, I'm currently looking for a new job. I'm comfortable in chaotic situations, and I actually prefer chaos because my mom and my dad had a toxic relationship. And that's what I knew. So I'm able to work in chaos, and I actually prefer it. And I don't know if that's okay. I went looking at this new job wants to hire me, and I told them they told me this yesterday, Friday. I said, give me Monday to decide. Me and the family, we jumped in the whip. We drove to the school. Big, beautiful school in a nice area. It looks like the parents take care of the teachers. It looks like you may not have as many behavior problems as you would have in other neighborhoods. And the first thing I said is, I don't know if I want this. I need to be around the people who need me. Now, that could be admirable, I guess, depending on how you look at it. Or you can just be a nut who likes chaotic situations. And I don't know if I know it's not normal, but I just want to talk to somebody about that, because putting yourself in a position to take on the world's problems or somebody else's problems, and their problems are toxic. I don't see how that's normal. Like, I don't see how that. I'm not. I love superheroes, but I'm not Batman. I'm not out here fighting the Joker and Two-Face and all that. I get in dark rooms and I ask myself, man, what am I doing, man? If you have if you're wanted by people who put you in positions to where it's not as bad, everything could be peachy. Why don't you want to go to where it's peachy? Why do you want to hang around in chaotic situations? That's what I asked myself. And the only thing that came to my mind was, well, you grew up in a family where you watched your dad not have all the respect, in the world for your mother. You grew up in situations where everything wasn't as as put together as it should be. Now, the weird thing about that is, for my family, I don't talk to my child's mother like that. I make sure everything's together. But I prefer to deal with people who are in these traumatic situations. And I don't understand why. I don't have the answers. I'm not sure if that's normal or not. But I have to talk to somebody to understand this, man.
Wow. Man, I think that's a beautiful thing, man, that you can acknowledge that, you saw that growing up and you realize that could be manifesting in you now. The other part of what you said that I think is amazing is that you're making sure you're not reliving that in your marriage. You're not treating your wife that way. You're making sure that situation is not toxic, that Nyla is not, seeing that play out. Because as you were talking about that, one of the first things I thought about was that brother Chris Brown, how he grew up seeing boys put hands on his mom. And then he ended up having that situation with Rihanna. And then how that situation parlayed into his career, where he probably would have been the biggest star in the world at a point. Like he might have been the male Beyonce, but his career kind of got, because people unsubscribed to Chris Brown after that situation. So it's like, it's amazing like how we can see things growing up and then it manifests in a certain way and then ends up affecting our future because we didn't deal with the trauma the right way. And all of us have some sort of trauma we're dealing with, especially Black men. And, I do believe that affects how Black men move sometimes at their jobs, at, wherever they are. Like, I feel that sometimes affects because it has to manifest itself somehow, right? Like you can't grow up in an environment that's crazy and not have that be a part of you somehow, some way. And it kind of reminded me of I was listening to a podcast and the brother was saying something and he ended up saying that IQ will get you a job, but your EQ will make you lose that job. And sometimes because of what we've endured as Black men, sometimes our emotional intelligence isn't the best because we haven't gotten those demons kind of cleansed out of our spirits. And again, it got to manifest itself somehow. And so as Black men, sometimes I think we feel like we have to like mask things or not show weakness or not show vulnerability because of our history, because of the environments that maybe we grew up in. We couldn't show that vulnerability. Like if we grew up in the hood, man, you can't show vulnerability, man. Boys will think you soft or, and might come, so sometimes those situations I feel like truly impact everything that we end up doing in the future, and it affects and kind of just stunts our growth, like where we could possibly be. And I hate to see it. I truly hate to see it. So, I really just hope that we see a whole new like wave of especially Black men being more vulnerable about what's going on and actually dealing with those issues, because the trauma's there. It's just you have to figure out how you want to deal with that trauma. And sometimes it is about going to that unbiased third party, that therapist to kind of help you walk through those issues, because at least you're dealing with those issues in a healthy manner and not allowing it to parlay into your job, in your marriage, in your relationships, in your the way you deal with your kids, the way your kids view you, like, because that's how generationally we end up being, kind of, as you said, jacked up, because we had a person here that could have dealt with the issues here and broke that cycle. But instead of breaking that cycle, being vulnerable and dealing with the issue, we chose to deal with it another way. And now the child sees it, or now the marriage fails because of it, or now the dad loses his job because he didn't know how to handle his boss, because he's taking his anger out and his frustration out on his boss, and his boss ain't having it. Now, how is he going to provide for his family? How is he going to create generational wealth? How is he going to start the business if he doesn't have the funds because he lost his job and now he's got to go get a lesser job? So many things can just cascade into other problems if you don't deal with it appropriately.
Man, that's good. You spoke about man. I mean, we speak about children. We have children. Are you okay with your child and or children judging your parenting in the future? Before you answer that, some of the decisions you make for your child later on, it may not be the greatest decision when you reflect on it. And you're going to have to live with that. You're going to know that. I'm going to know that. Whoever's raising kids is going to know that. But one day your child is going to have children of their own, and they're going to think about certain situations that they're dealing with now that they saw you go through with them. And they're going to be like, my parents' decision-making wasn't always the best, or they could have, or maybe some resentment maybe, had. Are you okay with that happening?
I think it's inevitable. I think as parents, we try to do the best, we can with the resources we have, with the knowledge we have, because, hey man, it doesn't matter how old or young you are. When you have a kid, like it's a whole new experience. You and I both, had kids later in life than, some of our friends and whatnot. And I can tell you that time didn't matter to me. Like, it still hit me just if I was having a kid when I was 22, like there was still things I didn't know. Yeah, was I better prepared, financially and everything. But at the end of the day, man, it's a new experience. And from everything I've seen and learned, man, every kid is so different. There's no manual, with that come, your child, you go buy, we bought microphones, right? Our microphones came in a nice little box and all that. It had a user guide and instruction manual, a little warranty thing on there for 1 year and all that. Hey man, kids don't come with none of that. There's no warranty. There's no user guide. It's just the nurse hands you the kid and it's like, good luck, my brother. And that's it. And, a totally new experience. So, I think there's going to be, are there things that I can look back on myself and probably say, man, I wish I would have done this and that. I think I would be able to be critical of my own self. So yeah, of course, our kids are, but at the same time, we got to think about it. We have more knowledge than our parents had when they had us. We have more knowledge. We're more educated than that generation. So our kids, how much more educated and how much more knowledge are they going to have? So they're going to have that leg up. So they're going to have kind of a lot more information to work with. And yeah, they can judge, and I'm prepared for it. At the same time, I think I will instill enough values and enough wisdom and knowledge that I think my son is still going to appreciate everything and see the value of my parenting. So, is there going to be room for judgment? Of course, it is what it is. Am I going to be in my feelings about it when I find out? Yes, but I think it's inevitable. With more information comes, more ability to judge and to say, hey, we could have moved differently in this situation?
Oh man.
Are you prepared for that moment?
No, no. Man, I have a daughter. It's just gonna hit differently. Just gonna hit differently. Yeah, my daughter, I don't know, with I can't speak to having a son. I don't have a son. But I know with daughters, what I observe just in life and what I see with my own daughter, your daughter looks at the dad as if he's Superman. And that moment where she grows up and she has more understanding, and she's raising her own children, when she looks at me and judge the way that I did some things with her, man, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for me to handle. Am I big boy enough to, understand that that's going to happen? Yeah, that's why we're talking about this now. And this and the judgment that we're speaking of is going to happen 30 years from now. Mm-hmm. But at 30 years from now, I can guarantee you it's going to hurt. Just going to have to be something I deal with, man. Just something that we deal with, man. Because when I get a little older and I look back over a situation, I'm going to be like, I could have done that a little better. And she's going to, when she gets a little older, she may judge me on that, man. Am I prepared for it? To answer your question again, no. It's going to hurt. You know what, man? I have another question, man. What are you scared of for your son? Like in the future, what do you know he's going to have to deal with that may give you some sleepless nights, man?
This racist ass country. It's unfortunate, that I dread the day that I have to have that conversation with him, like, because kids are taught in school, hey, the police officers are our friend, and and I gotta circle back to them and be like, okay, there's an asterisk by that. There's an asterisk by the police officers. They are good people to certain people. And that it sucks, man. It really sucks. But we have that responsibility to share that and to prepare them for the world, and for a world that's not fair to them. And it sucks because it's like, man, this is my seed I have to tell this to, and my seed could go out into this world and get pulled over for being Black and treated unfairly and not make it home. Just knowing like that, hey, it's a good kid, he makes straight A's or whatever, even if they don't make straight A's, doesn't matter. But like, just knowing like what great things your son did and still can be just viewed as a certain way, it scares me. It scares me. That scares me a lot. And then I'm gonna be honest, man, knowing that my son is probably gonna have his heart broken at some point, it's like, like, there's, like Will Smith said, and just the two of us, man, like, ain't no pain like from the opposite sex, man. And like, I know what that can do, and just wanting him to be able to not allow those circumstances to shape how he handles things in the future, because again, it goes back to trauma. Those a heartbreak is a traumatic experience, and I would hate for him to miss out on a good thing because, hey, he had some chick that didn't mean him no good, and broke his heart, and now he's tainted for the rest of his existence. So to answer the question, man, I'm afraid of him going out into this world and dealing with the craziness of this world, both from a law enforcement standpoint to a just racism standpoint in general to the inevitable heartbreak he's probably going to experience?
Man, I'm a go with the latter of the response that you gave. I'm going with the latter. I got a girl. That heartbreak is different for a girl. I would assume. I've never been a woman. I don't know. Dudes, let's keep it a buck, man. We have the advantage out here, man. We're dudes. We have more of the pickings. You know, I got a girl. I try to model myself to be a quality Black man. I model myself in front of other young Black men to be a quality Black man. So if any of them thought I was cool and wanted to be like me, that would make the pickings better for my daughter, for a lack of better terms. This society is teaching, and this isn't, I'm not bashing gay people or anything. Just hear, I'm a Black father speaking. Just let me speak. This society is teaching our men that it's okay to be, pretty much it's okay to be bi. And I'm afraid that by the time it's time for my daughter to be pursued, the quality of man is going to be plummeting. That's my biggest fear for my daughter. Okay. I would like her to bring a man home that kind of, resembles her dad as far as attributes and, integrity. But is that a real thing in the future? I don't know. Excuse me. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what scares me, man. Is my daughter gonna have to settle because she's a girl and the picking, dudes have the upper hand? And is my daughter gonna have to be alone? That's my fear. She's gonna
have to bring a little Uzi Vert to the house.
You see what I'm saying? And you see what I'm saying? And that's not gonna fly with me. That's where me and her would conflict.
She gonna bring a Tekashi the 6ix9ine to the house.
Man, it's no way. I would outlaw that. It is no way. I would sabotage that. It is no way. But that's my biggest fear, man.
And I have a question now. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I mean, I just pray that she, I position her to where she has a little more power, to where it will be a pool of guys that are quality that want to pursue her because of the power positioning I put her in, and because she's really likable or lovable. So I have a task. I have a crazy task that I'm dealing with, man.
So you mentioned that the pickings are going to be slim, and I totally agree with you. I think that the quality of man is going down at a skyrocketing rate.
Now let's keep it a buck. The quality of Black man, but go ahead.
Yeah, and then you even mentioned that it's cool to be bi or gay or whatever. What role do you think conditioning played in that, from us growing up watching, Jamie Foxx playing Wanda and Martin playing Shanae and Jaleel White playing Myrtle Urkel and Tyler Perry playing Medea, all these guys, dressing up like women. Do you believe that conditioned men to be a little less manly?
I think it wasn't. I think it played a part in it. I think it did, because back then we laughed at it. I loved, Jamie Foxx is Wanda. Big Mama's house got a 1, 2, and 3. I'm in this. Tyler Perry's. He Medea's. I'm there. Now I'm not so. I don't want to see a Medea movie. I don't want to do the Myrtle Urkel and Wanda. I'm cool. Jamie Foxx, he has so many other talents and gifts to where I don't have to see Wanda. I don't have to see Shanae. Did you hear the recent story that Jaleel White talked about?
Mm-hmm.
And for the listeners who may not have heard it, Jaleel White talked about how when he was younger, the people running Family Matters wanted him to play Myrtle Urkel. He played the character, and he said for a while, Carl Winslow and Harriet Winslow, the people who play them, they came to him and they were like, hey, check it out. I don't think you should do this because it's not going to be a good look for you and it's not going to be a good look for our community. Shout out to OGs. That's why it's important to have OGs around. But anywho, he played the character and he said that he would go home crying because he felt like a girl. And his dad saw that. His dad saw that. Keyword dad. We're talking about Black men and mental health. His dad saw that. And he went to the showrunners or the studio or CBS or whomever. He was like, yo, hey, is this mic on? Check this out, man. My son is at home. He's crying because he's playing this character. So check this out. I'm going to make an executive decision. This ain't happening no more. And you didn't see Myrtle Urkel anymore until he got older and he was grown by that time. Maybe the studio talked to him like, hey, can you play this character once or twice? And maybe he was okay with it. But him having a dad that saw the effects of his mental health, the effects of his child's mental health declining, and his dad stepping in saying, check it out. I don't care how much money this show is bringing in. I don't care that this show is number one at CBS or number one wherever it's number one at. My son's not doing this character anymore. End of story. That's it's power in that, man. It's power in having a father, a Black father that could come shut some things down no matter what the outcome is. I'm here to shut this down and you make your move afterwards. And best believe I'm built for whatever your move is. But it's a slight rant. I apologize. But to go back to that, man, I don't think that, I do think that, our strong Black men playing some of these characters, these female characters, did play a part in some of our men being a little less solid, man. Tyler Perry's 6'5". Well, I don't want to see him as Medea. Jamie Foxx was like this incredible high school athlete. He could play the piano. He could sing. He could do many other things. He's a stand-up comic. He has all these gifts and skills. I think we could do without Shanae. I think so. Yeah.
I heard you mention Carl Winslow, and that just made me think about Black TV dads. Who is your favorite Black TV dad?
Wow. Oh, man, that's a great question. I know it's popular to go with Bill Cosby, but I got to go with, man, first things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil.
Hey.
For real. Man, he was just, if I wanted to model, anything, if I wanted to model my fatherhood or my parenthood, it would be that. A successful Black man that was able to take care of his family and bring in another kid that didn't have, everything going in his family. Even though this kid that I'm bringing in, he's different from my children. He's, all over the place. I might got to reel him in. I'm going to do this because he needs this.
Check this out, man. That is my answer almost to the T. But I'm finna bring it full circle. So yes, for me, it's Uncle Phil. I can sum it up in one episode, though. Why?
I already know what you're saying. Go ahead.
Okay. this episode where Will's dad showed up, and Will's dad, was not Uncle Phil, man. He was like a truck driver, just a working man's man, whatever. Cool. Will had this, no matter what Uncle Phil brought to the table. Uncle Phil was a powerful judge. Uncle Phil was an amazing father. Uncle Phil had a mansion. Uncle Phil had Carlton and them staying in a beach house at the mansion. Like, they had a butler. Like, he was all of that. But there was still this void in Will that was longing for his actual father. Even though you got this goat of a man that has taken you in, you're not spoiled and Ivy League college bound like Carlton. You're not stuck up like Hillary. But you came in with this swag and this different thing, and they took you in, and you were like you said, you were different, and he still took you in. Well, his dad came to town and they was kicking it or whatever, and his dad made promises to him. His dad said, "Hey man, this weekend I'm gonna take you, we're gonna go on the road, yada yada yada." Fam, Will was like on cloud 9. But just like his dad had done in prior in a prior lifetime, or earlier in Will's life, he left him there, and something came up, I can't do it. At the end of that episode, who was there for Will? When Will is broken, is heartbroken, is can't fathom why his dad continues to do this to him, Uncle Phil is still there to comfort him, to guide him, to just be that father figure. And it was such a powerful moment on TV.
Absolutely.
Will is literally sobbing in tears. Why he don't want me, man? And Uncle Phil didn't have any words. All he did was give him the biggest hug ever, knocked his cap off on the floor, and just comfort him, because he understood that Will was hurting, and he understood that this man meant Will no good, and he even tried to warn him about it. But Will had to do it. Will had to find out for himself. But Uncle Phil's like, I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Phil, the GOAT, fam.
Absolutely. It's hard for me to watch that. One day I was holding my daughter watching that episode, and I'm like, I can't. It's just different. I don't know why it's difficult, because I'm here, I'm present, I'm daddy. If you need me, you come get me. I'm here. But it was just hard for me to watch that episode, man, because you felt that episode, man. You felt that. And for people who had, like for me, my biological dad, never met him ever. Couldn't, in my life. But, I have a stepfather who came, the society calls him stepfather, but I claim him as my father. He came in, and you know what? He wasn't perfect. When I'm talking about my dad doing these things, it was him. But I mean, he taught me how to throw a football. He taught me how to drive a stick, pause. He taught me how to do these different things, man. And if I had grown up without a father, maybe I would have turned out to be one of these guys that I'm afraid for my daughter to bring home to me. I don't know. But I grew up with a father, thank God. Wasn't the guy who made me, but it was somebody who was able to step in and say, hey, check it out, man. I ain't Uncle Phil. I don't have all these resources, but I can show him some things on how to be a man. I'm not a perfect man, but I can, I could be there. I could do something, So, man, I want to say shout out to all the fathers, man. Shout out to all the TV fathers that set a great example that some of us living in real life can look at and kind of model our real life fathering after, and shout out to the real fathers, man. Shout out to the uncles. I have a real life Uncle Phil. He didn't necessarily take me in. He would have taken me in, but I have a uncle who who showed me how to be a man. I remember for my 16th birthday, he bought me a toolbox, man, with tools. And I said, I thought in my mind, I'm like, why did he buy me this, man? Why didn't he give me some shoes or something? Fast forward 20 years later, I own a house. I'm in Home Depot almost every week. I'm looking at YouTube, learning how to fix certain things. And all I can remember was my uncle buying me a toolbox, preparing me for this moment. Hey, guy, you're 16. You're going to be a man one day. You need a toolbox. You don't understand it now, but you'll remember this moment 20 years from now. So shout out to all the dads, man. Shout out to the dads that are watching their children and protecting their children's mental health, like Jaleel White's dad did, because that's important.
Man, this is good stuff, man. Man, talking about Uncle Phil, man. I did enjoy Dr. Huxtable from the Cosby Show, right?
Absolutely.
But for me, with him, it was more or less the life lessons he kind of taught to his kids in unique ways. For instance, man, Vanessa went out and got drunk. He gave her a tough lesson in getting drunk. He brought her in with her much younger sister, and they did a drinking game, and it's just like, nah, this is wrong. Like, nah, she can't drink, and making it come full circle. He taught Theo about the real world when Theo thought, hey man, I need to be on my own. He turned their home into an apartment complex, and boys had to pay rent and whatnot. He was just very innovative in how he taught lessons to his kids. So I think, for me, those are the two dads you should look at, man, because Bill Cosby got these things that you can really bring full circle to your kids and really teach them something. And then Uncle Phil, just like I said, man, he the GOAT, man. That's why J. Cole, man. Hey, and next Friday is J. Cole Day. I encourage everybody to take off work and go check out that J. Cole album that's dropping because it's been a minute. I know I don't plan on being in the building, but yeah, man, you got anything else on this mental health?
Man, I think we gave the people some great, amazing content, man. And man, I think the people, this is an episode maybe people just need to sit with, man. But before we get up out of here, man, I think, this is the Jarvis Sam Show, inspired by Christopher podcast mashup, man. Click the links below. Yeah, hey, man, hit that Cash App, man. If you appreciate the content, if you listen to this and you hear something that inspires you, hey, man, $1, $2, $3, $100. But on a serious note, man, I listen to my guy Jarvis show every week. He doesn't ask you for anything. He doesn't ask you for money. Now, me, I be on mine talking about, hey, man, hit that Cash App, subscribe, whatever. But Jarvis doesn't ask you for anything, man. He just hits you with content weekly, man. And I know it's content that forces you to think, because some of the episodes, I don't really keep up with the politics like that. But I get information from listening to Jarvis's show, man. So I know if I'm getting information, I know you are. So whether you're one of my listeners, whether his listener, whether both of our listeners, man, hey, man, tap his Cash App and do something, man. The man say he banging through, getting his house in order for his children. He got it. He gonna be all right. But if you fool with this show and you're progressing from this show, contribute to this show. That's all I got, man. But my information will be, in the information part or whatever. Jarvis's will be in the information part, man. That's all I got, man. Holla at the people before we get up out of here, Jarvis.
Yeah, man. Check it out. So listening to Chris, just like he listened to mine, I listen to his every week as well. Man, he had this episode where he was talking about Kyrie Irving situation where Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
Not Blonde Streak Man. uh called him the N-word or whatever. And the way he broke it down in that episode, I thought was really good because as long as I've known him, well, not as long as I've known him, I've known the brother since middle school, but as long as adults we've been kicking it, I know he avoids saying the word, and he really brought home why he doesn't say it, and probably why Kyrie is feeling the same way. And it really made me evaluate how I need to make sure I'm not using it. I don't use it all the time, but I have to. It made me want to 100% eliminate it from my vocabulary. I would say I was in between 0 and maybe 25 on the percent scale of using it. But man, I'm after that episode, man, I'm almost at the 0 mark, because that word is crazy, and really it shouldn't be used. And I think one of the only reasons it's still out here so heavy is honestly because of the music we listen to. And I can't wait till there's a movement where rappers start retiring the word. I'm gonna listen to rap for probably the rest of my life. I'm gassed about the J. Cole album and everything, but I hope that there's somehow a movement where that word gets eliminated.
Wow.
I think that's where we're really going to see a decrease, because I think by rap music, hip hop being so pop culture, it gives everyone access to the word. And I think when we limit access, we'll see reduced usage. But the way he broke that down, I thought was great. Here's another episode where he's talking about the Kobe situation with Nike, and Will Smith talking about how he uses his mind and whatnot. Man, so it's always thought provoking. So please, if you're a listener of mine and you have not subscribed to this podcast, I urge you right now, like right this very, very second, you can turn this one. I'm giving you permission to turn this one off right now, because we done already gave y'all the heat. So you can turn this one off, and you can go type in Inspired by Christopher in the same place you got this, unless you got it from my website. But even if you got it from there, in the description in here, you can click and get his information, and you can go subscribe to him right now. And it's all about leveraging each other to build each other up. Just because we're not on each other's show weekly does not mean that we're not fully a part of each other's brand and we're not fully supporting. So we appreciate all the support both across both platforms, and we appreciate everybody who's listening. And for everybody that's listening, thank you so much. Please subscribe and share with as many people as you can if they think the information is valuable. And if you made it this far, you obviously think the information is valuable. So you should definitely be sharing it with somebody. Thank y'all. We will both catch y'all next week.
Peace.